Last year, I made a lot of money. Apparently, I made $109,000 in total, okay? Now, for me, most of that was spent paying off debt, right? I'm completely debt-free now, taking care of my mother and my little sister, and tied up in stocks in like retirement accounts, like a Roth IRA and 401k and other retirement accounts, kind of spread across a big portfolio. And of course, my job. And here's the thing about making money, okay? It's only gonna, like, I'm only gonna make more money as I go. This year, I should hit around 150,000. So 2023, I should crack around 140 to 150. Then 2024, I should be close to 200,000 a year, especially, you know, as I go up in my career. By 2024, I plan to have been working at a refinery for, what would that be, like a year and a half by the end of 2024, which should put me around, yeah, around 200,000, maybe a little bit more. It's crazy to think that I'm making all this money right now. The IRS didn't like it. I mean, it wasn't their fault. It was my fault. Anything in life is my fault, whether it's good or bad. I didn't prepare for it, but I'll get better at this making money stuff. This is new to me. 109,000 may not be a lot of money to you, but that's a lot of money to me. All right. I've never made that much money before. And, you know, when my CPA told me how much I made, I was like, wow. And I look back on the year, and yeah, now, you know, I look at my portfolio, like with my stocks and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? It sounds right. It sounds accurate. I know that 109,000 isn't really a lot of money. It's not. To someone, that would be a lot of money. And trust me, I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to get a W-2 back. And what, I only made $27,000 last year. How did I survive? And you really wonder how you survived. So this making money thing to me, it's new. And I just want to say all of this to say this. You do not need to go to college and, you know, be educated to make a lot of money out here in America. You just don't. You go on YouTube and a lot of people are like, especially a lot of women, you listen to a lot of the dating channels and like, I want a college educated man who makes 6 figures. They all say like they all want an educated man, right? I think a lot of that comes from like Instagram. A lot of that comes from seeing guys in suits, and you see a guy in a suit in a nice car and you automatically think that he makes a lot of money and he must have went to college, which might be true. And then again, it might just be a guy in a suit in a nice car that's about to get repoed, and the suit came from like the thrift store. Fellas, you do not need to go to college to make money. You can get into a trade like, you know, like trucking. You know what I mean? You can get your CDL, especially with all your endorsements, and you can get out here and make some money, okay? It's crazy to think, dude. I made 6 figures last year. It's like, wow. It feels really good. It does. It feels really good. My credit has turned around. When I first started doing this trucking stuff, dude, I was like in just short of 20 grand of debt. I'm debt free this year. You know, I'm making payments to the IRS, but I feel like the richer you get, that's always going to be there. You're always going to have a debt to the IRS. And that's why rich people are always looking for loopholes in the tax code and what they can get written off. Right now, I don't have a lot of write-offs, so it just is what it is. I'll be making payments to those guys. But as long as you're in compliance, it doesn't matter. And here's the thing about being in debt to the IRS or to whoever. Most people your problem isn't really your debt. It's not. Your problem isn't really your debt. Your problem is that you need to make more money, okay? If you made so much money, say you owed $50,000 to the IRS, okay? If you made $300,000, you could pay that off. If you really settled down, you could pay that off in like 2 to 3 months. 50 G's to the IRS. You could pay that off, and you could probably even talk to them and negotiate that debt. So, say you're in $20,000 in credit card debt or student loan or whatever. If you were making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, you can pay that off. For most people, you know, when they look at, like me, before I started trucking, I was looking at how much debt I had, how bad my credit score was. And to me, this whole money thing seemed like, you know what, this is going to, the debt itself, this is going to be an impossible monkey to get off my back. So I'm just going to learn to live with bad credit, being in debt. I'm just going to learn to live with it. And you can live your life in, you know, in debt and in, you know, having bad credit. You could have all that on your back, on your rap sheet, and still get an apartment, you know, find somewhere to live, get a job, make good money, have a nice car. You can, but it feels so much better to not have that on your back. It feels so much better to make money and not have to worry about some, you know, some creditor that you owe money to or whoever garnishing your wages on a debt, because that could happen. It just feels so much better. It feels so much better to look at your FICO score on Experian or Credit Karma or whatever and see that 700, 800 credit score. I'm not at a 700 yet. I'm almost there. It feels so much better to have money. I'll tell you what, having money feels good. And like I said, fellas, and ladies and gentlemen, you know, whoever's watching this, you do not need to go to college and to get into debt and waste those years on a college campus, you know, to become educated, right? Which is really to become indoctrinated, right? I'm not going to get political. We all know what's going on the college campuses. You don't need to do that. And the worst part about it is, the worst part about going to college, especially if you don't know what you're going to go for, and if you're going to go for something that doesn't make money, there's kids out there going to school right now for degrees that are only going to make them $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year at the max. And they're going to be in 30,000, 40,000 G's in over their head on student loan debt with interest just to make $50,000 a year. That's crazy. You can get a trade. You know what I mean? You can get a trade, a CDL. You can become a pipe fitter, a welder. You could become a mechanic. You know, different types of mechanics. You could become an auto mechanic, diesel mechanic, elevator mechanic, right? Escalator mechanic. A lot of people don't think about these things. You could, you know, become an engineer, right? I think you got to go to college, but whatever. You can get a trade, is what I'm trying to say. And get out here and make a lot of money. You can. All you got to do is be willing to work, be willing to sacrifice, not live above your means. Like, you know, when I'm making $300,000, I wouldn't mind still renting out a room and just pocketing all my money. I feel like in order to really be rich, you got to know that you're in total control of your money to the point where it doesn't stress you out and it's not a big deal. Like, yeah, you're making a lot of money and you're not stressing about money, but you're thinking about, all right, how can I make more? How can I make more? And you get to this point. Sorry, this truck makes a lot of noise. Ruining my video, dude. Shut up. Ugh. You get to a point where with this money thing, it just sort of happens. You get into this flow where year after year, you're just making more and more money. And by the time you know it, you know, you look at, dude, I got it on mute. Why is it doing that? You get to this point where you look around you and you look at your bank account and you really just look at the past few months or whatever and realize, like, man, I haven't really been stressing over money. That's all I wanted to say. I made a lot of money last year, and the way things are going, I'm only going to make more money. You know what they say, the rich keep getting richer, and I'm not going to say the other part because I don't want to sound like a cocky asshole or nothing, but I really wanted to put this video out there just to let you know you can do it. It's possible. I'm not that smart. I'm not. But if I can do it, you can do it.